Hey guys, Daryl here. I'm going to do a average guys review today. Let me show you what we're doing. We're in this apartment, and what we did, everything's getting painted in here. I'm going to flip this around. Everything in this apartment is getting painted. All the trim, everything is getting all new blinds. Everything's being replaced. We already pulled the carpet and the padding down, so I don't have to worry about making a mess in here. So today we're going to review the Wagner handheld. It's the, I don't know if you can see that or not, the 590 handheld Wagner sprayer. What it comes with, which is great, with this really nice hard case to carry everything in. It came with the paint bucket, the sprayer, the air. It has 2 or 3 different tips. Actually, it has 2. This is a multi-cleaner, gets in all the cracks and everything. It also will tighten anything. Came with extra O-rings for the seals. It came with a pinpoint sprayer. Now, I haven't used this yet, but it says it is a pinpoint. It'll literally go like around the light, the plugs, the sockets, and is what it says. Now, I have not used it yet, so I might try that a little later. And it came with an extra tip. I'm not sure what the difference is in the tips. I might try this one later just to see what it does. As you can see, I've used this a little bit, and I've had it for a little while. It does really good for small areas. It doesn't have a huge spray pattern, so it takes a little time. But in here, these walls was really bad, so I had to go through and we kilsed everything, roll on PPG painter, sealant, stain and odor seal. We've sealed the floor. We've got it ready for painting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything set up, get my paint mixed up. This doesn't drop into the bucket or anything. You have to fill your jug up each time. So I'm going to go ahead and get it set up, and then I'll come back and show you the way it sprays and see what you think. So I will be back in a minute. Alright guys, so I wanted to show you how easy this was to fill. I got my paint mixed up. I always use a strainer, just so I don't get any chunks or anything in it. So again, I already pulled the carpet and stuff out, so I'm not worried about a little paint on the floor. I'll clean it up the best I can, but that's not a stress. I run it through a strainer so that any chunks won't go into the sprayer, because once you get chunks in it, it can clog it. And it can also send spatter onto the wall. Make it hard to cover. You'll have to go through and scrape it, sand it, and that kind of defeats the purpose of spraying. So what was that, 6 cups? 6 cups filled that up. I'll clean up this mess here and and I'll show you how easy it is to put back together. Alright guys, so one of the little tricks that I've learned, this is the bottom of the trigger. What I've learned, I've got the curb going away from me, going towards me, I'm sorry. This is the front of the nozzle. I got the curb going going towards me. And the reason for that, when you put it all back together, it just sets on there and screws in. You have to excuse me, I just had rotator cuff surgery 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago today, as a matter of fact. Get it on there. You don't have to crank it down, just nice and tight. So now when I'm holding it and I'm spraying, my natural way of spraying is tilted just slightly up. So now when the level of the paint goes down, the nozzle goes down to the bottom side here so that it's constantly got the paint to suck into it. You always want to make sure this hose is connected good. This is where the suction air comes from after blowing in. So now I've got that back on there. This is the actual paint sprayer. Little trigger. You've got your adjustments right here. I run it at about 7 for inside of an apartment because it'll reach the ceiling real good and still has a nice spray. You can go way down to minimum. I've never used it under 5, so I don't know exactly what it would do, but I use it about 7 there. And it says the minimum does fences. It's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, all the information that came with it, I was able to hook it right up and go. So now to put this on, see this little clip right here? That goes to this little clip. So you put it on and you twist it and it clicks in. You've got another little adjuster right here. It stops it from pulling so far. I always keep that cranked so that I'm in control of it, but if you're afraid that you'll pull it and put too much paint, or if you're not moving it quick enough, it'll start building up. So I always put it on max with that set on 7, and we'll do some painting here. So let me get this set up. I'm not going to make this a real long video, but I'll show you how it does. Let's do this wall right here. Get my camera set up here. While I set this up, I'll turn this off, and then I'll come back when I'm ready to start painting it for you. Guys, so one of the things you can do with this is adjust the spray, how much air. So if you got full air on it, you're going to get a smaller stream. Less air, you get a larger stream. The spray pattern, picture a cone coming out. And then you can also change which way it comes. So with it like this, the spray pattern comes out like this. If I turn it like that, the spray pattern comes out like this. So going up and down a wall, the pattern will come like that and put the lines. If I turn it the other way, the pattern comes out like this, so it'd be almost a straight line if I went up and down. So I can go side to side and get the spray pattern. Under normal circumstances, I would have safety glasses and at least a paper mask. But just for this video, I'm just going to do this just so you can see. So let me go over here. It's a little loud, so I know I won't be able to speak to you, but this is how good this does. So I'm just going to do a section here just to show you. One of the things I like about this is if you're painting, you can, and you've got the paint coming out, you can do a half trigger. It stops the paint but keeps the air going so that nothing clogs up. No paint coming out, it's just the air. So, as you can see, it's not a commercial sprayer, but it does really well. It took me a couple of minutes to do that whole section of that wall. The apartments that we paint, my brother and I, that we paint, we often can't spray because they're luxury apartments. This is the one, I'm working on a video that we had to do a bunch of patching, tore the cabinets out and everything. Everything in here is being replaced, so I can come in and spray. Is this sprayer worth 200 bucks? I think so. I believe it's great. It's not faster than, say, an 18-inch roller, but with this, I can put it on as thick as I want. All of this would have taken two, possibly a third coat rolled out because of some of the nasty stuff that's on the walls. I mean, permanent marker, it's even bleeding through the primer that we put down. So for me, as opposed to doing two coats with a roller after having shoulder surgery 2 weeks ago, to pick this sprayer up, to be able to go and do this whole apartment, it'll take me 2 days as opposed to a week. Yeah, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it to me. So, cleanup's really simple. I think, why is my camera going crazy? Oh, the lighting outside is starting to suck, so. But, yeah, we'll look more into it and see what everybody thinks. Thanks for watching, guys. Okay, so one thing that I forgot to mention, it's been bugging me. I wanted to make sure I got it in this video. So when you're spraying, I'm going to get a little close here. When you're spraying, you've got the paint coming out, a nice even flow. What I see a lot of people doing on YouTube, doing these, you'll see them spraying like this with their wrist. And that's not what you want to do. You've got your pattern coming out in a cone like that, and it's going back and forth. So when you're spraying, you want to use, sorry, I had surgery on my shoulder, it's still sore. You've got to use your whole arm. You want to keep your wrist locked, and you want to keep this the same distance from the wall through the whole stroke. So you're going straight back and forth, you're not doing this. The reason for that is if it's coming out in the same pace in a stream and you're spraying, if you're doing this, first off, you're not as close to the wall as you are straight ahead, and you're making it thinner. So you're going to be thin, thick, thin, thick, thin, thick. So the way to get around that is to not bend this. You just want your arm to be the same distance away. You want this to be the same distance away from the wall that you're painting. I go about a foot, I guess, would be a good guesstimate, about a foot away, and I do even strokes back and forth. You can go faster, you can go slower. If you go faster, you're not putting as much paint down as if you're going slower, so it's more of a thin coat. But don't go so fast that you start doing this, because it's not going to be an even coat, and you're going to get runs in the middle if you're not careful. So I just wanted to make sure to point that out to you.